Hi, I'm Jeff Ray, your host for Economic Outlook. Welcome to our program. We hope you enjoy this show. Please make plans to join us each week as we discuss the region's most important economic development initiatives with a panel of experts. They're one of the smallest counties in the region, but they pack a big punch. Marshall County has seen some great growth in recent years in its communities like Plymouth and Bremen and Culver and Bourbon, and it's been intentional. We're sitting down with Marshall County leadership to better understand how small communities compete for new jobs and capital investment, coming up on Economic Outlook. Marshall County is known throughout the Midwest for its eclectic mix of international and American companies in both the high-tech and traditional manufacturing sectors. Well positioned at the crossroads of Indiana, companies in this region can reach nearly 40 million people across the country in a half-day drive. Today we're focusing on Marshall County and all the things happening there to help drive the regional economy. Please join me in welcoming Greg Hildebrand, the President and CEO of the Marshall County Economic Development Corporation, and Dr. Natalie Tucker, the Vice President and Academic Dean at Ancilla College. Guys, welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We're always glad to have you. We've showcased quite a few Marshall County things over the years, but we'd like to just take a bigger, holistic view today, so glad to have you both here to kind of dive deeper into what people need to know. Greg, let me come your way first. If people don't know about the Marshall County EDC, tell us what it is and what you do there.
Oh, we're typical EDC. We were formed about 17 years ago. As most EDCs were started, as counties became more and more used to the idea of EDC. We are funded partially through private investors and then partially through some government funding. We address three main areas. Attracting, that's always a very important and popular item that we do. And then probably our most effective item that we address is building industry, what we currently have, helping them expand and face new challenges. And then that third is entrepreneur and workforce is what we work on.
Great, sounds good. And Natalie, let's come your way. So tell us, for people who aren't familiar with Ancilla, tell us a little bit more about Ancilla in Marshall County.
No, thank you. Marian University Ancilla College has been there for a very long time. The Poor Handmaids of Jesus Christ founded the college, actually as a high school and then a college a little later on. But the building, the educational principles, and the Sisters' legacy of education has been there since 1921. And the college itself is pretty much associate programs. We have 6 different associate programs, but also we have 2 bachelor's degree programs as well. So we traditionally have always catered to freshmen and sophomores, and then you transfer on or you go right into the workforce. But now we're seeing more students come in. We have, again, with that 4-year nursing program, you do all 4 years with us. And then we have a 4-year elementary education program that will be starting this fall. So we're really excited about both those programs. We have a little over 220 students on our campus, 2 dorms, cafeteria, 161 head of cattle, some sisters that live there. It is, but it really is a really unique and phenomenal place to study. We have a lot of personal attention, great faculty and staff, a great sense of belonging. So deep history and lots of opportunity. So
great. No, I appreciate that, and we'll certainly get more to that. Greg, come your way. So give us just a state of the economy. Tell us a little bit about, how are things going in Marshall County these days? Maybe some things you want to highlight or tell us about that's happening there.
Marshall County is blessed in that we have a very diversified industrial and manufacturing base. We have a little bit of food production, a little bit of automotive, and everything in between. So it's been very nice to have that diversification. Last year we had about 170 million worth of CapEx. Most of that was early in the year, as interest rates, things kind of slowed down towards the end of the year. But that 170 million produced about 20 million in annual payroll addition, for jobs. Our unemployment rate is the area's lowest as of the last time I looked. And then we are looking at some, once beginning of the year, we have a couple large companies that are looking at some expansion, as things kind of settle down with the economy.
Yeah.
So we're excited.
Yeah, so dive a little deeper for us. So when we think about the geography there, and we think of even some of to help put in people's heads, Marshall County, so it's Plymouth, it's Bourbon, it's Bremen, it's Argus, it's Culver. Just give a high level of kind of the communities and sort of what's happening in some of those.
Plymouth is just got a new mayor, Mayor Listenberg. They are working on new administration there. They've got some different initiatives they want to do, some housing downtown, redeveloping some of the downtown. Culver is a very seasonal community, a lot going on in the summer. Their population grows extensively in the summer with the school there also. They have a housing project that's going to add about 300 addresses to the community, which is huge. You know, their real estate market has been kind of skewed down over there. Argus has the US 31 and 10 intersection seems to be a hot issue over there right now. We know that's going to change. It's a very dangerous intersection, and right now they're trying to figure out what are they looking for. Bourbon has housing need, as everybody, you know, and that's haven't had any housing developed there for quite a while. We're looking forward to something here this year, breaking ground on. And in Bremen, it also has a housing initiative up there. Southwire, of course, is continuing to expand. They will have over 1 million square foot under roof here soon. They're our largest employer in the county, over 600 employees. And in La Paz, had to get occupancy for the new apartments any day now, and that's the newest housing development in La Paz in decades.
Right.
So it's growing. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, some great projects. I have my roots are Marshall County. My grandparents are from Marshall County, ran a business in Bourbon for 50 plus years
sure.
down there. So spent a lot of time there, down that way at a younger age. So Nellie, let me come back your way. So Greg's got these important economic development projects going. The college has this important task and responsibility of helping educate folks for the jobs of the future. So talk a little bit about the college and maybe some of you touched briefly just on nursing and some of those, but talk about some key industries that you're working to educate students on, and then how
Absolutely.
that ties into kind of the local workforce development efforts.
No, thank you. Our biggest degree program is actually business. And so that tends to be, again, our most popular major. And in this role, which I've been in this position for 7 months, I've really had a great opportunity to work a lot with Greg and people in the community to better understand the manufacturing needs, the community needs, the industrial needs, the economic needs for Marshall County. I will say I've been thoroughly, though, impressed with how well the community as a whole, as a county, they all do an amazing job communicating, talking, sharing, supporting each other, and all the work they're doing. So I've just been in awe over that and under Greg's leadership. And so the college itself, we're finding places where we would really like to work more with a non-traditional audience as well as our traditional audience of students. And so looking at different applications around certifications, how we can help upskill individuals that are there already in the workforce, but make that doable also with their busy lives and with their jobs already. Ancilla years ago, for many decades, really catered to a non-traditional audience. That place was humming at night. My mom attended as a non-traditional student as well, and I mean, they had classes all through the evening. A lot of people got different types of licensing, real estate licensing, certifications of that nature, and so we'd like to bring some of that back as well, because we really feel that's part of our intentionality. Is as the only institution of higher ed in Marshall County, the sisters founded us with the purpose of educating those in the rural community or those that want to stay close, and how can we better help, support, and elevate our community, and that is through education. And so how do we make that viable, purposeful, and intentional with Marshall County and the surrounding counties around us? So a lot of opportunity, again, the certifications and upskilling and training we're working with right now and developing some different opportunities.
Great. Greg, talk to us a little bit about Ancilla, the important role they play, why it's so critical to have a partner like them in your space.
Well, as you know, that's everybody's front of mind issue, that all our employers are workforce, you know, and finding qualified, trained workforce. So we've been working with Ancilla, you know, how can we solve that issue? And we've also been working with the new Marshall County Career Innovation Center. That's a CTE program for students still in K through 12, you know, traditional school. But we've also added an adult education part to that and a workforce development part with our industry partners. So all three of those areas are taking part in that. And we're bringing Ancilla on board there. Traditionally, they don't work in the engineering and technical fields. But there's a room for what they do offer, and they're expanding into those other fields too.
Absolutely.
So it's been a great partnership, and when we talk about talent attraction, a big part of that's retention. You know, we have some very talented individuals in the community that feel that they have to go, you know, the opportunities are somewhere else, you know, and it's a matter of letting them know that, no, those education opportunities and career opportunities are locally available also.
And Nellie, would you say from a student standpoint, are your students probably come from a little bit from all over, but probably from, you know, maybe a land share from so are those folks then that are plugging back into the workforce as they graduate or get their certificate or degree?
Yeah, absolutely. We have some of our students do, transfer on, depending also on the program. Some of them transfer down to Marian University as well in Indianapolis. We have some that transfer on to comparable programs, like we have an ag program. Well, that would be our transferring partner with that is Purdue, but really you can transfer on to any ag program. But what we're seeing is a lot of students, return back into the workforce. The majority of our students come from seven neighboring counties, most of those up in this area as well. So we want to make sure that we're being good stewards of making sure they're prepared to enter into the workforce and be productive, contributing citizens and adults as well. And then, of course, circling back to the fact to that non-traditional audience, again, that we need to be serving in our community to help provide them with those educational opportunities that, again, we're in their backyard. You don't need to come and drive or commute. We can provide you with those skills and abilities or like whatever it is that you need to do to better do your job and better serve the community. So.
Great. Guys, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to go out into the field. George Lepiniotis, my co-host, we sent down to Marshall County. George, let me toss it to you.
Thanks, Jeff. I'm in Marshall County at Marian University Ancilla College's School of Nursing, at the Layton School of Nursing, in fact. And I'm joined by the program director, Shana Ricker. Shana, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Shana, I also am joined today by Lucina, yeah. Lucina is part of your, what I'll call your simulation lab. Is that a fair description of where we stand today?
Yes.
So we are in the School of Nursing. This is a partnership between Marian University and Ancilla College. Before that partnership, Ancilla College did not have a bachelor's degree in nursing, but this partnership has brought that about, hasn't it?
Yes.
And you're about to graduate your first class of bachelor's registered nurses ready to practice nursing. How exciting.
It's very exciting for us.
Tell us a little bit about the lab first. This is an amazing place. She's blinking, she's breathing. What is this all about?
Well, this lab is to simulate the hospital environment. So the students come in, practice a real scenario like they would in the hospital setting, but they can make errors and learn from that. So it's really about that experiential learning, where the students get the opportunity to do things they may not necessarily get to do or see in the hospital.
And when we say experiential learning, that's a really great word, because Lucera bleeds. She breathes. She can have seizures. She can really recreate almost, in living, breathing color, the emergencies that these young nurses are going to face in a clinical setting, can't she?
Yes, she can, and it's very real for the students when they do that. They actually get emotionally attached during this scenario too.
Yeah, our viewers can't see, but in front of us is like a privacy mirror where you're on the other side controlling the environment. What's the value to this room? What does it really bring these students that they wouldn't have otherwise? I mean, this had to have been a pretty massive investment. You said yourself that it was one of the most advanced in the country.
Well, it's one of our most advanced in the area here. It brings endless opportunities for our students. They get to experience things that they won't get to experience otherwise. Plus the value of learning. So when they do something, they may make a mistake, the patient's going to react to whatever they do. So they get to have that discovery learning too, or going, hey, if I do this, this is going to happen, with no harm coming to the patient. Everything in here is recorded, audio, video, so the students get to review that. So there's a lot of value in them seeing what they've done right or wrong.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what year of their 4-year program do they start experiencing this facility and this lab?
Well, their first year is pre-nursing, so they're not in here. So their sophomore year in their health assessment and fundamentals, where they're learning that basic foundation of nursing, they will start coming in here. Now those scenarios, we start off kind of easy or basic, and then slowly work them up throughout the program.
Awesome. When we talk about nursing, I'm moving a little bit beyond your borders, but in the broader community, as we focus on that healthcare economy, there are challenges, right? There's a nursing shortage. You're really trying to fill that gap.
Yeah, we're trying to fill that gap and make them practice ready when they leave. So they won't be that gap in between when they graduate and become fully functional independent nurses.
When you say that gap, we know that our communities, our viewing communities, whether it be Marshall County, St. Joe County, Berrien County, Elkhart County, all of them have medical facilities to one degree or another. Some are less complete than others, more rural, right? More rural environments, healthcare environments in the United States are struggling for providers. What role will your students play in those situations where maybe a facility doesn't have a specific type of care? You're preparing them for that, aren't you?
We're preparing them for a wide variety. We make what we call nurse generalists who can be trained into different areas because nursing has over 100 specialties. So that's a lot. So we give them that foundation that they can scaffold off of. Plus, we give them a really broad clinical experience. So they're going to different types of facilities. Like they go to Argus Community Schools, they go to an OB unit, they go to a med surg. So they're seeing a lot of different stuff.
Got it. Now, our patient here is set up for OB, you said, but she can be set up for any type of healthcare situation. Is that also part of the training? I mean, do they come into this lab for various specialties within the nursing profession?
Yes, they come in obviously for OB, for delivery, but one of their favorite simulations is a Code Blue, where she is not pregnant, but she goes into cardiac arrest and the students have to start all the way from the beginning to the end to save her.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for showing us around. This is such a great room and a great lab. I know this is a fairly new partnership for the university, so good luck with it and good luck with the graduating class coming up.
Thank you.
Jeff, back to you in the studio where you're going to talk more about Marshall County and what's going on down here, but more importantly, how our more rural communities are stepping up and the institutions they're in are helping fill voids that exist within the industries there.
George, thank you. Appreciate the inside look out there. Greg, let me come back to you a little bit. So, you know, in my opening, I teased a little bit that, like, you are, or not teased it, like that you really are one of the smallest counties in the area. However, you're sort of punching above your weight class a little bit, and you're really driving some economic activity. You know, give some advice, insight for other small communities as they're watching, like, you know, that like this isn't, you know, jobs and economic growth aren't just happening in the big cities. They're able to happen in smaller communities and rural, or as you mentioned, several of the ones talking about. Just help us understand your magic formula and how you're making some of that happen.
I don't know that there's any magic other than, you know, just good workforce. We have a lot of very productive and very talented individuals. You know, we have some companies that started locally in Plymouth and have maintained there. That's been a kind of a push for us, is how can we keep our corporate headquarters here, the few that we have, you know, because unfortunately we've had a couple really successful corporations start in Marshall County, and then as they get purchased, the headquarters seems to move away, and then they're not as involved in the day-to-day activities. But how can we keep those headquarters here locally? And that's a big key to our successes. We have local people in those.
We talked, like, you know, so it's like all communities experience like this vicious cycle of economic decline when the decision makers went somewhere else,
Yes.
right? And that generally weren't, like I say, weren't connected, weren't as invested, and then, you know, we used to, like, so much R&D used to happen in our region. A lot of it left when those decision makers left, and so I think it's great to keep folks in mind. Natalie, let me come back your way a little bit too. So let's just talk college. Or higher ed just generally a little bit, you know, and you touched a little bit on just on certificates and degrees. When I look at like goals, like the Indiana Chamber has a goal to up education attainment. Ready, Greg and I are both working on Ready grants right now. One of the goals in there is to increase the number of people with bachelor's degrees. Give us a feel for just what's happening. Are more people today enrolling in school? Is that like like college feels different than when I was at it 30 years, a long time ago. So just talk to us a little bit about just sort of the
kind of the lay of the land, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, you know, post-COVID, it's a really interesting time. Pre-COVID, when you looked at the landscape of 18-year-olds and you surveyed nationally 18-year-olds who wanted to go to college pre-COVID, I think close to 72% of them said, yes, I want to go to college. Post-COVID, survey that same age group, and it's like 50. 52. So colleges across the United States, we're all experiencing that same type of aftermath in COVID. However, what's been really exciting is it's forcing us to think differently. It's forcing us to change how we teach, how we engage with students. What do our students need post-COVID? Our freshman class this year, which is one of our biggest freshman classes, they're fun, they're outgoing, they're excited to be there. And I remember the first day for one of our classes, our freshman seminar, the instructor asked them, like, why are you so excited to be here? And they said, we get to be freshmen. And she goes, well, you were freshmen in high school. And they said, no, we weren't. We were COVID. So some of these students never got a traditional high school experience, and they're seeing colleges kind of being able to provide some of that, but they're also not overly prepared. College readiness is a challenge, as well as academic challenges, because we know some online platforms probably were not as advantageous for some students, and then they come to us and we end up testing them and they go into developmental classes. We want to help them be successful. We want to get them out there and get them through the program in a timely manner. We want to make sure we're being cost effective with them ourselves and stuff, but that has created some strains and challenges around higher ed. But I think we're finding some really amazing, unique ways to really pivot, and higher ed needs to pivot. We haven't pivoted in 300 years, to be really honest. And so I think we're seeing some colleges really altering their platforms, their technology, and the way in which they teach. And then we've seen some colleges not as well. So we're excited that I have a great group of faculty, 25 faculty members, and we are pivoting. And Marian University has been a phenomenal collaborator and supporter with us as well. So we're excited about, again, technology shifts, how we work with students, sense of belonging, creating just definitely a culture and community around our students' engagement in their experience there.
Great. Greg, you touched briefly on students at a younger age in the career and tech ed space. Marshall County's made a major investment in doing that. So this whole continuum, right? Build the pipeline from very young age, because we need people with advanced degrees, we need people with bachelor's degrees, we need them with certificates, we need them with high school diplomas. So just talk in the last few minutes about the career and tech ed activity that's happening there.
Yeah, well, one of the areas that we've talked about, and you said it, that lifelong, that life career, and she mentioned that fewer students are going. Always traditionally it was a college path or maybe a manufacturing path. There, and really there's that middle lane there where if we can have a kid or a student or somebody learn a skill or a trade or get some certificate, but don't stop there. We can keep, and you can keep stacking those, keep adding to that, and look at it. You'll get that bachelor's degree without the 6 figures of debt. We'll help you work your way through college, with these skills, these advantages. And that's one of the things we've been trying to focus at. Also, as you know, childcare is an issue that's brought up all the time, and that's part of that. Not only are we providing some childcare opportunities, but also training childcare providers, because that, as she mentioned during COVID, that took a big hit, and it's a service that the people that need it the most can't afford it, and the people that work in those can't even afford it sometimes. So that's where we're entering that also.
Great. Nellie, let me come your way. So young people who are watching us and aren't sure, well, I don't know what I'm not sure I knew what the opportunities looked like when I was in college or what I wanted to do when I grew up. Talk to us a little bit about just sort of the things you do to sort of help people understand sort of the career path. For that undecided kid, doesn't mean that they should hold off. You'll help them through that journey.
Oh, absolutely. When we have students come into our programs that aren't quite sure what they want to do or where they see themselves, we have a lot of faculty, and we also have a lot of student support services and student success engagement services, and we also have student success coaches that can really sit down with you and help you map out plans, goals. What is it that you really love and enjoy? I get kind of sad sometimes when we ask young people, well, what brings you joy? And they just look at you like, I'm not sure. Or I like to run. And I'm like, well, okay, we can work with that. But let's see. So I guess, really having those conversations and being very reflective, and then helping them build a meaningful path where they see and they see application, and they see an end goal, and they can see themselves in that role in the future, and that we're helping build the skills and abilities for them to be successful in that pathway, and we're walking right alongside them. 47% of our students on our campus are first generation. They don't know what this looks like, and they don't have a lot of support at home at times, and so that becomes faculty and staff. We are the ones wrapping around them saying, you can do this, and this is how we're going to help you, and being a small college, we can do that. So that's really exciting, but that is the work we do very intentionally, because we do have a great pocket of students that I'm excited to be here. I came because this opportunity proposed itself very last minute maybe, or I wanted to play a sport, but I need to also make sure my number one goal here is you graduate with a degree and you go back and you can work and serve in your community in that capacity.
Great. Greg, I'm going to put you on the spot, but so in the last minute, help us, give us the pitch. Why should somebody come visit, move there, live there, open their business there? Give us a quick pitch.
It's just a wonderful quality of life in Marshall County. You really, I've been there the vast majority of my life. I wasn't exactly born there, but I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I mean, we are in the center of 2-3 large population with a lot of amenities, and we have a wonderful outdoor amenities also. So no, it's the quality of life there and the quality of people that live there.
Well, guys, thank you both for the work that you do. Appreciate the work you're doing to drive economic activity. We're glad to have you here, and we'll look forward to having you back.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it for our show today. On behalf of the entire team here at PBS Michiana WNIT, thank you for watching or listening to our podcast. To watch this episode again or any of our past episodes, you can find Economic Outlook at WNIT.org or find our podcast on most major podcast platforms. We also encourage you to like us on Facebook or follow us on X. I'm Jeff Ray. I'll see you next time.
This WNIT local production has been made possible in part by viewers like you. Thank you.